We are now recording.
Okay,
All right, that's about 5:30. Let's call the meeting to order. First thing I'd like to say is that it is recording. So anything you say is put onto the web, or not the web, but the cloud or whatever. So, and it has come to the select board's attention that we
you haven't, Steve, excuse me, you haven't started the meeting yet. You want to bring it to order first, right?
I thought I did.
Oh, you did? Okay, I'm sorry.
Identify everybody. And yeah, wait a minute here. Let's get Mr. Page in. He's joining. Okay, looks like we've got everybody in.
Can you hear me? Anybody?
Yes, I can hear you, Barry. Thank you. And I can unmute. Let's start there. I have to unmute Dwight, Deanne, Bob, and Edgley. We'll get everybody so that they're all online. And then Ernest, you can hear us, Ernest?
Yep.
Okay, good. Ernest is by phone. So, all right, we'll start the meeting. And introduction of all those present. We have Michael Straight. He's a select board member from town of Brighton. And then there's Steve Edgley, Dwight Brunette, Barry Sahagian, and then Bob. That must be Bob Best. You hear us, Bob?
Yep.
Says UCAM 5 on your screen.
What does it say?
I don't know.
What did you say?
It says on your screen, UCAN 5. Please start your can, whatever that is. That's on their end. And we have Deanne Menier, Representative Woodman Page, and Ernest Starkett. And Wendy Mathews has just joined us. And I will admit her, or maybe you did, Denise. I don't know.
I did not, no.
I just did. She's joining us. All right.
Hi, Wendy.
Hello.
Hi. How are
Hi.
you? Good. So can everybody hear us? I think so.
Yes.
We've been this
Yeah.
the screen with the three guys in it together masked up is your select board. I'm Steve Barrup. And then there's Rick Gosselin. And then there's Jerry Waterman. So introductions of those present. And before we start the meeting, we'd like to go, we adopted on November 1st of 2018 some ground rules that are in the operation of the meeting. And Jerry Waterman would like to read these ground rules before we get started so that everybody knows that we're all on the same page.
Ground rules for meeting. Be positive and respectful of others. Number 2, be on time to the meeting. Number 3, cell phones we have down, turn silent, take the call outside. That was when we could hold the meetings here, but on Zoom, every little noise you make will bring you up. So number 4, be quiet when others are speaking. Number 5, raise hand if you want to speak. Number 6, stay on track when a topic is being talked about. Number 7, come prepared, don't discuss personal issues. Number 8, no fighting or arguing. Number 9, the chairperson is in charge. Number 10, if you have a question, it's okay to ask for help. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Now, back to the meeting. I need a motion to approve the minutes of December 3rd and December 16th meetings.
I'll make that motion.
Motion.
I'll second it.
Motion has been made and seconded to approve the minutes of 12/3 and 12/16. Are there any admissions, errors, or corrections?
I didn't see any.
Okay. Hearing none, all those in favor of the minutes as printed signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Ayes have it. Minutes are approved. Next item up is appearances by local citizens and visitors. We got 10 minutes allocated for this. We got a number of people here. I know Barry is asked to speak. Who else would like to speak under the appearance? Dwight would?
Yes.
Okay, I got one more. Anybody else? Yeah.
I would.
I think, okay, yeah, we got two more, so there's three. I'm just trying to,
I don't think 10 minutes, I don't think 10 minutes is gonna make it. If you cut me down to 2 minutes or something, it's gotta be divided up a little better than that. You have to take it how it goes. What if she talks 5 minutes? He talks 5 minutes. I have, oh, no minutes left. I can't talk. Is that what goes, how it goes?
okay, we need to be respectful. And we
I'm
will,
not, how am I not being respectful? I asked you a simple question.
no, we don't know how many people that are going to attend. When we do get that number, then we try to allocate people to speak. Now, I understand I'm not going to hold everybody to that. But,
Good.
I want people knowing that we've got 3 people that are going to speak on this, any of what they want to bring forward, is that we need to be respectful and on topic. So do you want to go first, Barry, or you want to go last?
Sure, I'll go first.
Okay,
Okay, I wanted to talk about a few things. I have questions about the water committee, okay? So when is you only gonna roll this out? We've asked you several times and you said December, but December's gone. So when is the billing gonna be applied?
the what applied?
The billing for the water system.
Yeah, part of that is going to come up under at 610, the water system, sewer system, and solar panel report. Aldrich and Elliott, and I think Jason's with us, and an update on the rate structure.
Okay, I asked you, when is the rate structure going to be implemented? When?
Well, that will come up at that time.
No, I'm asking you. You claim to be the owner of the water system and you are solely in charge. I'm asking you, I need you to be accountable on this because this question has been asked several times and it's been going on for 2 years. We need to know, I have to insist on an answer from you.
That ain't gonna happen.
Okay, I consider this a violation of First Amendment rights. You ought to be accountable at all times, and you haven't been accountable, and you're doing it again. There's always some type of subterfuge to not answer this question. I will file a complaint. Okay, next. There's a lot of things about this. The problem here with this water system is we have got no accountability. We don't know what's going on. And we have, now we have Jason here from Elliott Aldridge. First time we've seen a meeting where an Elliott Aldridge person was here. Everyone in town wants to know what's going on. You and Denise have some type of system where we're not allowed to go to the meetings. And I want to go back to that 9 meetings that occurred, and we weren't made aware of that. Denise didn't take minutes, and we don't know what happened there. Now, you say you have a system, you and Denise have. You say Denise says she doesn't have to notice those meetings. So we don't know what happened. I would have went to every one of them and recorded them. So now we have Jason here. Okay, where's Jason been? So Elliott Aldridge made almost $800,000, and you would think they would have one meeting So the people, not even one meeting in 2 years. And as a matter of fact, Wayne Elliott came to a meeting. I asked him a question. He ignored me. You're not, and who am I? I'm only someone who pays the water bill. You don't pay the water bill. Excuse me. You don't pay the water bill, Steve. Denise doesn't pay the water bill, but you get to know everything that happened. And then I told you, I went to the Secretary of State, and I discussed this with them. And like you said, they don't advise you. No, they don't advise you. I told them of your system of not noticing people, and they said, and what they do is, no, they don't advise me. What she did was sent me a few laws that you have violated, non-compliance of several laws. Now the laws say, am I still here? Okay, what happened? Someone leave? All right. Yeah, so the laws say, because you were delegated by the other two selectmen to take care of all the business. So they don't show up anymore. And according to these laws, when you are delegated, you still, the other two, when you're delegated, it doesn't mean there's not a quorum there. That was a basis of you not sharing information, telling us when the meetings were. You say it wasn't a quorum. Well, what they say, the law says, it says that although it wasn't a quorum, Denise is still to take minutes. She's still to notice the meetings, and that wasn't done. And these are laws. I'll show them to you. I asked Denise to check this out with the VLCT, and she just said, no, we don't have to do it. She wouldn't give us the respect of going and getting the correct interpretation of the law. And I offered also to, I suggested she call Jenny Prosser, Attorney Jenny Prosser, who is an expert on municipal law and open meeting law. That wasn't done. So what are we supposed to do? And now you have this procedure, this policy rather, where we're not allowed to come to any meetings where you're spending money, because a meeting isn't a meeting, because you told the other two select board members that they didn't have to come. No, they don't have to come, but they have to stay informed. Denise has to give them reports. So it sort of is still a quorum. And those laws were not followed. And now I have to ask, now we don't know what's going on. For 2 years, people have been asking, and you suggested we should, because I've filed complaints on this, I should bring you to court. And Jerry said that too. Bring it to court and we'll just get it over. You're dreaming. Just get it over. Well, there's other ways we can go here, and we need some transparency on this. We need some transparency on the water system. Now you get Jason here. Traditionally, when you have somebody from the company, we're not allowed to ask any questions. We're just spectators, although we pay the bill. And another thing, I was curious about who was setting the rate structure. I asked several times. Now I find out that Elliot Aldridge is setting the rate structure. Okay, they get $750,000. We don't know one thing that happened. We're not allowed to go to the meetings, and Elliot Aldridge only shows up once a year. And when he did, Wayne Elliott wouldn't answer my question, ignored me. Nice deal. And now this disturbs me. This disturbs me that Elliot Aldridge is getting contracts. And every time they put a contract in front of Steve, who is the only one who makes a decision on it by himself, it's approved every time. Because, as I'm going to quote Steve in a previous meeting, he said one time, the Elliot Aldridge makes $150 an hour. And he said, I like to tell you that because it makes them feel good. So are you making them feel good now, granting all these contracts? and then contracts don't stop. In the last few months, at least almost another $40,000 went their way. And we are just waiting for the bill. And at the same time, the bill's getting bigger and bigger. And we don't know what's going to happen. Well, I got
You're taking up majority of the time, and I've got a
if you
person.
don't let me speak, that'll be another. I'm taking only about 4 minutes. If you don't let me speak, that'll be 2 complaints. I'm disturbed on what happened at that last meeting, and I'm not going to take any more. This is a meeting. You want to go home early, don't show up. You got to do the work, Steve. You got to do the work. According to according to
Representative Page is asked to speak, and I'm going to mute you right now. Mr. Page.
Ernest wants to speak as well, I see.
You can just call me Woody, and Miss Mathews, and I believe Mr. Straight are all part of this discussion, and Miss Fountain as well. And this is, and join in the rest of you if you'd like. But this is just a pitch. I guess our main meeting will come up next month. And we're asking you, the Select Board and its members, to consider joining the Northeast Kingdom Communications Union District. And I think that Clerk Denise has a package of material for you to review. Okay. And look it over and be prepared, I guess, for next month. Is there anything else anyone else wants to add?
Okay, well, it was presented to us tonight, so I briefly looked it over, but I will, you're going to be on the agenda for next month.
Yes, I believe it's the
I hope
4th.
so.
Okay, so then I will, we will be more prepared.
And I think at that time, we would like for you to provide a response of whether you will or will not join at the Communications Union District.
Yep, can do that.
It
I think
seems to
my
be,
email should be on there somewhere, and if you have questions, you can feel free to reach out. I have no problem.
Thank you, Michael. Well-
Can I say something?
Yes,
Yeah, I'm gonna send Wendy the link to the Zoom meeting. Maybe she can forward it off to Woody and Michael and Kristen, because I might not have their information. Would that work,
absolutely.
Wendy?
Yes, absolutely. I will share it with them and other members of the NEK Broadband
Okay. Perfect,
initiative.
I have your email, so that'll work out great.
And
Denise?
oh,
Sorry.
if I
No,
could
go-
just add one thing, is that I really find very favorable about this is this CUD is that we're looking to expand broadband that's more than that's 25 or more Mbps for equitably for the people, the students, the commuters and people needing telemedicine. We're really looking to try to get that. Only 50%, I think, of the people in Newport town have broadband. And so, but the really important thing that I want to express makes it beneficial for our town is that it's not that we're seeking funding from the town. We're not asking for taxes, that we're hoping that this would all be funded by grants or low interest loans. So it's a program that could be extremely beneficial to the people of our town.
good.
Not just the people of Newport Center, but also perhaps expansion of our community throughout Orleans County and other counties as well. And as
Yes.
Miss Mathews said, it will not cost the town anything.
Okay. Thank you.
Denise just got a $5,000 grant for that purpose. Maybe you should talk to her for expanding communications during COVID.
Dwight, did you have question for them?
But I'm thrilled to hear that this discussion is taking place, and as someone who relies on quite a bit of telecommunication for every aspect of my work. It would be terrific if we could look at an alternative than what we have currently.
Okay, thank you.
Great.
Well, thank you, Steve, for having us.
Yeah, Kristen has a question.
Oh, I just wanted to introduce myself. I'm the vice chair of the CUD. And I just wanted to add, as you think about this, that now is a terrific time to get involved. We're starting to really get into the nitty gritty of developing a business plan and a network design. And, you know, we can't include you unless you're part of our CUD. So please join.
Okay. Thank you. Great. Any other questions for Representative Page and about the Northeast Kingdom broadband?
Thank you, Woody.
Yeah,
Thank you,
thank
guys.
you
You're
so
welcome to
much. Woody.
stay.
I think Barry had a couple other things he wanted to talk about, Steve.
Yeah, I'm going to put him back.
Okay.
Okay. Barry, you're back.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
I need to say goodbye. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
You too. Thanks. We will. All right, Barry, you're back on.
Yeah, I don't like this rate structure being done by Elliott and Aldridge. I feel that is a conflict of interest. The contract, who receives the contract is creating the rate structure. And I don't like it. I believe it could be a conflict of interest. I remember we had a conversation a few months ago about a preliminary engineering assessment that Elliott Aldridge charged $132,000 for, and that's 500% more than the preliminary assessment done in 2012. And it makes me wonder, I have looked at those and they're similar. A lot of the information is the same. I mean, the landscape hasn't changed. And I wonder, you know, and it was charged because it's grant money. But grant money, we have to pay back 40% of. And this is the person that is doing our rate structure. I think it should have been done by an accountant, why they get the contract. And now they're also being paid for creating the rate structure. And I don't like the way this goes in a circle. They create the rate structure. They give it to you. You collect the money from us. Then they come back and give us more contracts that you will approve. And on top of that, like I said, no transparency. We're not allowed to know what's going on. And that's been going on forever. And I have to, at this point, make a stand. And I'll tell you, there are some people in this town, when you drop the bomb, which you're not telling us when it's going to be, the rate is going to go way up because you've been spending a lot of money building up the debt. In my opinion, the grant of $750,000 should have been able to cover everything without increasing it. It's a lot of money, but when you spend 500% on some of the things, it gets sucked up real quick. So, you know, some people are waiting for the bomb to drop. When you give us that double rate, there is an alternative for legal. There's definitely a legal channels that could cause a lot of problems for you, not only for you, but for Jason's company. I explained this to you. I don't know what good it will do by telling you, but if my rate doubles again, a lot of people in this town believe that having meters was going to lower their rate. They're going to be in shock when it doubles. I'm sure it's going to double. Too much money has been spent. So we just wait. We just wait for that because there is legal channels you can do. And like I said, you take this to court because of non-transparency. It's not acceptable to spend taxpayers' money and not be accountable. It's a constitutional right. It's an open meeting law. And you people have violated that over and over. And I'll tell you, if it happens, I want Jason to hear this clear. What will happen? And I've done my homework and I know the laws very well. I communicate with the Secretary of State dozens of times in the last few years. When I talk about a law, I've already checked it with them and it is rock solid. So what happens if we go and we say challenge those 9 meetings that we couldn't go to, that you spent $750,000 allocated? What if it went to court and it was won? A judge would annul all the contracts, cancel all the contracts, and make you do everything over again, the whole 9 meetings. That's a burden. That would wreak all hell.
I'm going to interrupt you, Barry.
No, I said what I wanted to say. We don't like your violations of transparency. We have the right to know when you spend our money over and out.
Thank you very much.
So,
moving on, Jennifer Harlow is here with us, and she's on the agenda for 5:50. And can you hear us, Jennifer?
Did you mute Barry and Steve Edgerly?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay.
You
They muted themselves.
Yeah, they unmuted themselves.
Barry, if you're talking, you're muted, just so you know.
That's
You
all right.
muted
Let
yourself.
him.
he muted me. Steve muted me.
No, he did not. I have,
didn't.
no, he didn't.
No arguing. We read the policy. Let's move on. Jennifer Harlow needs to be next.
Okay.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, thank you. Welcome.
Thanks. This week has been something, I'll tell you that. So thank you all for meeting with me. I really appreciate it. I know I sent that email out a little late. Denise, was that able to get to everybody or so they can look at it?
I thought that I sent it to the board, yeah. I sent it to them in an email.
Okay.
You might want to review it because I did not put it in their packet.
No, that's okay. We'll review it. I just wanted them to have it in front of them so they could look at it if that was possible.
Yep.
So currently we're at, we do approximately 270 hours a year at 22 and a half hours a month. If you guys, the stats for 2019, for law incidences, there was 49, and this year there was 102 that we responded to. Tickets, 43, we had 44 tickets. That one's probably a little bit lower, obviously due to the COVID and our restrictions of having interactions with the public. Warnings, 45, we had 59. Arrests were 4 in 2019, and we had 13 in 2020. So as you guys can see, our numbers were considerably higher than they were in 2019. We're trying to show a much greater presence and be proactive, get some more community policing in there and things, which has been a little bit more difficult during COVID. We're not able to get out and actually talk with the public as much as we'd like to. But hopefully seeing us in the town more and being more active has definitely, you know, I spend a lot of time in there on off hours, which does not go towards the town contract. So you guys definitely have some problem areas where we received complaints, and we've been trying to address some of those and just show a higher presence when we are able to. We do have, so I did give you guys 3 proposals at the bottom of that page. Do you guys all have it, Selectboard?
Yes.
You do? Okay.
It's not in front of us, but it is in the machine.
Okay.
So, for me to get it out, it's a double whammy here.
Okay. So last year, our hourly rate was $51.40, and it has gone up considerably to $55.12. The reason for that was a 3% increase, and I decided to go with the Newport Police Department for dispatching. I don't know how much you guys have been following or know about the DPS and them having to or wanting to charge smaller departments for dispatching fees in the very near future, but it's going to be astronomical. They're going to start out slowly at about 25,000, but they're going to go up to over $100,000 a year. And that's not something that we'd be able to afford. So Newport's considerably less. So anytime when it's on our non-business hours. So right now, after 4:30, you would, if you called the sheriff's department, you would be calling and receiving a answering machine. You could leave an answer, a message on the answer machine, which is unfortunate because nobody gets it until the following day. And people are calling this office. I mean, we almost tripled our calls last year, or for 2020 compared to 2019. People are coming into this office more. They're calling more for service, which is great. So I want to make sure that the community is getting what they deserve. So now if you call after 4:30, you'll call and you call our number and you get Newport Police Department, which you speak with a dispatcher. So if there's something emergent happening and we have a deputy on, then they'll be able to respond to your call. If it's something that can wait till the next day, if it's not that emergent, then the dispatcher will send us an email and we'll be able to, a deputy will take care of it the following day. If they need medical, fire, anything like that, or if they need to be transferred over to Vermont State Police, then that will happen. But what's important is that they will speak to, sorry?
No, that's just somebody else came on.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Then what's important to me anyways, is that somebody's going to talk to somebody immediately and get whatever they need, whatever that may look like. So that was the reason for the increase. In the proposals, is that if you guys want to continue, if you were happy with the hours that you were receiving, the 22.5 hours at the 270 hours a year, at the new rate, it would be $14,882. What I'd really like to see is I'd like to see a little bit of an increase. We really would like to spend some more time in Newport. We get a lot of complaints in regards to speeding. We have some drug activity there and stuff of that nature. So I would like to spend more time there trying to be a little bit proactive, and we're hoping that the COVID kind of subsides, so we'll be able to interact with the public more on a more intimate basis. And I have two more proposals for that. I have one for 28 hours a month, so that's approximately 336 hours a year, and that would be $18,520.32. And then I know this is a big ask, but the 32 hours and then 332 hours a month with 384 hours a year would be $21,166.08. So.
Could you tell me that last proposal again? I missed that, Jen.
I'm sorry. So it's 32 hours a month, 384 hours a year, and that would be $21,166.08.
Okay, and what's the 18,532? How many hours is that?
336 per year.
Okay, thanks.
Sorry.
No, that was my fault.
Okay.
Anything else?
I don't think so. No, I'm just going to wait for you guys.
Can I say something? No. You want to say something about this? My wife is a little disturbed, about, I don't know. We live next
It's
door.
not happening right now.
It's not happening too bad.
I had
We have a neighbor and there was drug traffic and it was kind of disturbing us, but I don't know if it's slowed down. Right in the corner here. I mean, they were coming back and forth, picking up and leaving. And
Where do you live, sir?
I live on Vance Hill Road, right at the corner of.
Oh, yeah.
You know about that, right?
I do, sir. Yep.
A lot of people know
And,
about
I
it,
mean,
but nothing is ever done. I'm wondering
Can you give us
why.
any information? Are they watching it or something? Because,
And that there is active investigations going into that. So.
Well, that's great to hear, because it's disturbing her because,
No
you'd see them
doubt.
come and go, and you knew what they were doing and they put it in the window and leave,
Or go in the house.
Or go in the house. And then one time there was a raid there and,
So, sir, if you wanna call the office, I won't be in tomorrow, but I'll be in the beginning of next week, and you and I can have a much more lengthy conversation about that and we can try and figure some things out. And I can pass some information along that might be helpful to people if that would be helpful.
Okay, I'd like you to talk to my wife and said she kind of
That's
is,
fine.
you know, she's, I built a wall so she couldn't see it anymore because she was getting disturbed every time she saw it. Now we can't see it, but it's still there and
No, it's not there as much.
it's
I don't think
slowed
so.
down. I don't
see
know,
the
maybe you people
cars.
have put enough pressure on them where you're scaring them away. I don't know, but maybe, what is your phone number?
334 3333.
3333. All right, you know, and, okay.
If I see any more activity, I really
Yeah,
haven't seen it lately, which is
Okay.
fine with me.
Okay.
Jane is you know, a criminal law paralegal from Boston who's seen
Okay.
her share of crime, believe me.
Well, I'll look forward to talking with her.
Okay, thank you, Jennifer.
You're
Bye
welcome.
now.
Bye.
Who was that
Okay,
other person?
Jennifer, we just discussed on the 3 proposals. What we're going to do is we have to
Find out about the
one
others. I'm not stupid.
to the voters at town meeting.
Sorry, I'm having a hard time hearing
They're
you.
gonna- He wouldn't answer me. He said
Can they
I
hear?
just
oh, wait a
muted.
minute. Wait, hang on, I'll mute it, I'll mute
Yeah.
it.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, I just muted everybody. Can you still hear me, Jennifer? All right. And I can unmute you. And that will take care of that. What we have to do is decide which of the 3 proposals we're going to bring forward to town meeting. So we'll let you know which one that's going to be for the voters to vote on it for approval.
Okay, that sounds perfect. And if
Okay.
you guys have any questions or concerns or anything that you've over the years, I mean, I've had some,
Nope.
I haven't heard anything negative. I've heard some positive comments of how much they've seen us in the town and stuff. So I just wanted to make sure that you guys were okay and hearing the same things and didn't have any concerns.
We don't, if you will be the next to know after we do.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You guys have a good night.
Yep,
I look forward to hearing from you.
All right. Okay, moving on the agenda.
You gotta unmute all in.
Have to. I don't have a button to unmute all. So moving on, it's going to be Jason and Michael. So I'm going to unmute them.
I'm gonna try to unmute everybody. Some people have muted themselves, so you can't.
Yeah, I might mute myself to have conversations with my wife and not disturb you, so I'll come on when I want to talk.
Are you unmuted?
Yep.
Oh, wait, never mind, he's unmuted.
Steve? Steve Barrup.
You're muted, Steve.
Steve Barrup.
Thank you.
Hello.
They made me a
Steve?
co-host. Dwight, speak.
Yeah, thank you. I know that Jen, the sheriff was scheduled, and so I'd actually wanted to talk during the community member part. It's very quick.
Okay.
Is that, am I out of place now, or do you want me to?
She's gone.
Do what?
She's gone.
Yeah. Do you want to talk to Jennifer Harlow?
No. I just had an issue that I wanted to bring up that during the.
Clearances are the good.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yep.
You want to do them now?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yep, you have
Yeah.
the floor, Dwight.
Okay, it's very quick. Last summer I brought up some concerns about ATVs and provided information, and there was some discussion about trying to relook at permitted use on the roads by other people from other communities and the sticker issue. And I'm wondering what progress has been made on those issues since then.
101.1.
Is that question directed at us?
Yeah. Yeah.
Nothing.
Okay, so here's what I'd like to do is I'd like to put it on the schedule for next time.
Okay,
And, this was something that was talked about and everybody seemed to think that it was something that needed to be addressed.
yeah,
And, I would like it to be addressed before the opening of the roads and all the other things. And, if you want to have something more detailed, I can certainly write something and tell you what the concerns were then and are now.
we had put like a policy together with the club originally that addressed some issues that needs to be re-looked at. There's also another individual out on, I can't remember what road it is,
Clark Mountain.
but yeah, that would like to be part of that discussion also. And I've also been in contact with what's his name? Who?
Scott, did that?
No,
No.
just lives right down the street here. Big guy.
Chris Donovan.
Chris Donovan, I'm sorry. I have a hard time with names. So you're right, Dwight, that we all need to get at the table to have this discussion. And it should happen prior to the roads opening. So I'm in agreement with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So do you want to, kind of powwow about it and figure out what you would like to have as a meeting and that sort of thing. And we can bring it up at the next select board meeting as an agenda item.
Certainly.
Okay, that's good. I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Have a good night.
Yep. You're welcome to stay.
Oh, well, geez, thank you. I'll hang around for a bit.
Ernest is muted, and do those other people know that they're muted?
Yeah, just a minute. I'm gonna ask Jason to unmute.
Okay.
Mariner is unmuted. Ernest, to unmute, it's *6 on your phone. There he goes. He's unmuted. And Deanne, if you want to, I'll ask her to unmute if she wants. All right, so on the agenda at 6, we're right on schedule here. Aldrich and Elliott, update on the water rate structure. There was a proposal put forward for us in our board packet, which I read. And thank you guys. But turn it over to you for whatever, and then we'll have a discussion.
Yeah. Hey, folks. Can you hear me here?
Again.
Okay, great. So this is Mike Manor at Aldrich and Elliott. Jason, I'm pretty sure he's on here too. It's really an update. We're not looking for any sort of action by the board here. The rate structure. There's a bunch of right ways to do a rate structure. So a lot of this is what the board ultimately feels like is the best fit for the town. I'll just basically do a quick run through of this draft memo we sent over, and then we can discuss it and answer some questions here. Basically, the process for this is once we've gotten some comments back, we can come back with a revised approach, and then once we've got something that the board feels good about, then we can go and look at having a rate hearing. Basically, the way these rate evaluations work, there's two key pieces of information that go into them. The first one are they're the water system revenue goals. That's the first heading below the introduction on page 1. Basically, the question there is what does the system need to be making to cover its expenses? We looked at budget reports for the past 3 fiscal years. It's a little bit tricky just with the recent water project. Your cash flow has been a little bit different than what it would normally be just for operation. So we moved a lot of those numbers out, and then my understanding is you've got this CNB loan that's being retired next year. So that's a fairly big expense that's getting retired, which is pretty nice. Once you cut all of that out, your annual operation and maintenance budget is around $97,800. So that's the number we start with when we do these. If you go over to the second page, we've provided a little more discussion just about some sort of reserve fund contribution. As part of this asset management planning we've been doing, we've been looking at what do you have, what kind of equipment do you have, how old is it, what does it cost to replace when it needs to be replaced. And our recommendation here is, basically just to sort of keep what you've got in good working order over the next 5 years. You're looking at about $12,500 per year. That's a pretty standard number, just as far as like a capital, as far as capital contributions go. It's about 10% of your overall budget. And that covers things, some minor improvements too, like installing flushing hydrants and things like that. One other thing I just want to point out here, and this isn't as much of a recommendation as much as just something to consider. Looking out into the more distant future, I know the town has put a fair amount of effort just into upgrading parts of the distribution system over the past 20 years. You may want to consider trying to get the remaining portions of your distribution system rebuilt. The state has some kind of nice subsidies out there. This isn't something you necessarily would want to jump into within the next few years. The only reason I bring this up is that that's another fairly significant expense. And just given that you've got a fair amount of debt coming off your books in the near future, you may want to be looking at some sort of supplemental reserve contribution, just because that'll help you in the long run keep your rates more stable. And the town's in kind of an enviable position right now to be able to achieve reduce their annual budget while actually making some fairly significant reserve contributions. That's not a particularly common situation to be in. It's a nice situation to be in, though. So basically, and again, these are recommendations. This is why we're coming to the board with this is because there's more to this decision than just the numbers we're crunching here. So basically, as where it stands now, our sort of recommended. Oh, have a question there. Oops, sorry. So our sort of recommended revenue goal, at least for the purposes at this point, is about $120,000 per year. Which is a little bit less than what you're currently seeing. Only other sort of key piece of information here is just your users. You've got about 137 users, and average water usage has been about 16,400 gallons per day. That's over the past 2 years, and that's metered usage, and metered usage. That's what folks are actually using. I'll give a quick overview of these 4 different rate structures we looked at. We can adjust these. There are other ways of approaching this. We tried to keep this relatively simple. Just the fact that your town clerk and your water system operator have a lot of hats they have to wear and don't necessarily have time to be dealing with an inordinately complex rate structure. The first alternative, that's just your flat rate structure. It's what you've got. My understanding is you'd like to move beyond that. Alternative 2A, that's a flat base rate plus a metered usage fee. That's a pretty standard rate structure. And I should add, if you go into the attachments in the back, the third table, we've broken this out a little bit, just so folks can see how we've made these calculations, and then some sample rates, what folks would actually be paying at the bottom. But basically, the way alternative 2A works is everyone pays a single fixed flat rate that makes up about 65%, and then the remainder is based on their metered usage. Like I said, that's a pretty standard rate structure a lot of the smaller systems use. Alternative 2B, it's fairly similar. The only difference is it basically that base rate includes 5,000 gallons per quarter of water usage. So if you use less than 5,000 gallons per quarter, you pay that base rate, and then there's no additional metered usage fee. If you use more, you pay a per gallon fee on that additional usage. This is a little bit nice just because if folks are really good about conserving water, they won't be paying too much. They can have a pretty economical water bill. And then alternative number 3, this is an EU-based fixed rate plus a metered usage fee, and basically an equivalent unit. It's the amount of water that one single residential unit uses. And the idea here is just sort of acknowledging that a lot of different properties, based on the size of the property and what they're doing on the property, they're going to use a different amount of water. The idea with alternative number 3 is basically that fixed rate actually reflects that. So if you've got a two unit apartment building, you're going to be paying twice the fixed rate as you would if it was just a single family residence. And then you've got that metered usage fee on top of that. So that those are basically the 3 rate structures we've proposed. Like I said, there's a couple ways to cut these. That last table, you can see where things would shake out. So for a single family residential unit, you're paying $240 per quarter now. Alternative number 1, just with a debt retiring, you're going to be paying about $220. You'd be paying about $240 under alternative 2A. So that's your sort of standard flat rate plus metered usage. With that 5,000 gallon allowance, it's about $223. And then if you move to like an EU-based fixed rate, you'd be seeing about $220. So that's would be for a single family residence using about 160 gallons per day, which is pretty typical water use. So I don't know if anyone has any questions or comments there. I'd happy to.
I do have a question. Yeah.
Yeah.
We've been, as I said before, we get very little information on what's going on here. And several residents have asked when. Why is it that we can't get a when? It's been going on for a couple of years now. What is your estimate on when you can complete the rate structure?
Jason, do you want to answer that?
He's not muted. Jason's not muted. Whether he's there or not.
Did we lose it?
I have a question for you, Michael, while we're waiting for Jason to come.
Yeah.
Being involved with the water system on the board here for 23 years and knowing how rock wells don't have a lot of life, which one of those proposals would promote conservation on the water system?
That's a good question. I couldn't tell you who, sort of what the exact psychological effects of this are here. One thing, I think if you go to the third big line of the first table, I think the highest variable rate is alternative number 2B. So that's where you've got a $8.06 per 1,000 gallons. The others are $6.73. So that's the one where you've got high usage would have the highest financial impact.
Okay. And the other thing is we in the town here do have a water board, and I think this proposal that you're put together for us is very explicit. And what I would like to do is call that water board together to explain all of this out to them and see what their reaction is to that. And then that would give us some grounds to move forward.
Yep, that makes sense.
Mike Bayraw is here with me and he's has some questions.
Okay.
Mike's our water commissioner, for those of you that don't know.
Hi, Mike.
How we doing? My only concern is I know on 2A and 2B, you're still using the 137 meters in your calculations as to how many meters. We actually physically only have about 101 or maybe
Okay.
even 2 meters. So there would be a lot less fixed rates if we went with either of those alternatives. Alternative 3 kind of makes up for it because all of our apartment buildings, which we have several, they would be accounted for. with
Okay.
Extra bases. I was just, that 137, that's how we bill currently with all the different units that we charge separate.
Okay.
rates.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I just don't want to end up in the negative at the end of the year because we overspent because people didn't use enough water.
Yep.
And
No,
don't
I
use a lot of water.
agree. That makes sense. Yeah, those numbers are easy to change for us.
Yes, I just wanted to point that out before we get too far into it, because if we get a lot less base charges than we currently do, we're immediately making a lot less money.
Yeah. Yep, makes sense.
Yeah, because like if you look at if I can say something?
Yeah.
If you're looking at alternative 2B, a single family home using about 9,100 gallons a quarter, they're going to be paying $179 a quarter as opposed to $240.
Which is great that they.
Yeah,
do.
that's a pretty ambitious water usage there. I think folks would definitely struggle
Okay,
to.
really is right now, okay, why? It's in a temp of 101.3, that's freezing. Body aches, he goes, oh, awesome, I can't wait.
Steve Edgerly, I can hear you. There was talking going on there.
Oh, it's my wife in the background.
Oh, we heard her.
Okay.
Can anybody hear me?
She says, say hi.
Hi, Jason.
Hi, sorry about that. It took me a little bit to get my microphone.
It's okay. Jason?
Yeah,
Okay.
So, Michael, can you get before we present this to the water board, you'd like to have the correct figures in there. Is that something that can be massaged?
Yeah, that's certainly something we can revise this and get another version over. That's no difficulty.
Okay. Good. So I'll turn it over to Jay.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead, Ernest.
Okay. Hey, can I pick up somewhere along the line? Can I get all these figures so I can study them myself?
Yeah, you certainly can. When the final documents come into us and we call a meeting at the water board, you're more than welcome to a copy of it.
Well, the trouble is, if we don't have it before the water board meeting, I can't study it. It's complicated. Can I get it before we have a meeting with the water board?
As soon as we get it, it will be available.
Okay.
What are you reading right there? I would like copies of what you have there, please.
The copies that we have in front of us tonight, you're more than welcome to because they are public record, but they are incorrect.
Okay, Ernest, you can get them from Denise. She'll give them to you if you want them, what they have now, so you can read those.
Yeah, because I have a lot of apartments and it's costing me a tremendous amount of money. And a lot of the apartments are using less than 100 gallons. Some apartments are using 60 gallons. And I don't mind paying for water usage, like gas. If you're going to go buy some gas, you pay for what you use. If you have a car or a truck that gets 5-6 gallons of mileage, fine. If you got one that gets 30 gallons, 30 miles per gallon, then you use a lot less gas. So my question is not my question. My comment is I want to study it, and I want to see how you're going to go about it, and I want to be treated fair, because this idea of paying for a lot of water that you don't use is crazy.
60
Okay.
gallons, that's
Thank you, Ernest.
what per person?
I never got my answer from Jason. Is he still there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you fine.
Oh, okay. So I'm sorry, with my microphone issues trying to get it to work, I missed some of the discussion. What was your question?
I said, if you could give us an estimate of when this work is going to be done. We've been asking for a long time, and it's always, we don't know. I mean, it's just, it's math calculations. I understand it might be a little involved, but I can't see it taking. Do you have an estimate? A month, 2 months, something? Tell us something.
Sure. Yeah, sure. I think that with the information that we have right now, it's just a matter of really getting input from the select board and making some tweaks. Sounds like, and again, I'm sorry, I missed a portion of the conversation, but we've got to make some tweaks to the current tables that we have set up. But at that point, it's really a matter of, the select board making some decisions, or the water board making some decisions, wherever that discussion lands with the town. And then, there's a point at which there's going to be some sort of a hearing for a public hearing, a rate hearing, whether that's town meeting. If there's a discussion at town meeting, it could be at a regular select board meeting. So I'd say probably sometime, depending on what we can get for feedback, within the next month, 2 months at the longest.
Great. That's the first positive news we've heard in in years, and I appreciate it. And I'd like to suggest that Wayne Elliott treat the people a little better that pay the water bill. I don't like being ignored. I asked him a question a while back, totally ignored. I think that's unethical, and I have a bad feeling about what he did, especially when we're paying the money and your company is making money from it, and it's not right.
All right, do you guys have anything more for?
No, just reiterate that those drafts are just that, drafts.
Drafts.
I don't think that was worth saying.
And
Yep.
one thing I just want to point out, just so no one thinks that the town was necessarily dragging their feet on this. You need a couple of years of metered data before you can do this, because you have to know how much water people are using. So this is really the right time to be working on this.
Yeah, we're very aware of it.
Jason, do you have any other comments, Jason?
I don't know. Look forward to getting feedback from the board, and we'll make the necessary adjustments we need to here. And certainly, if there's any question from anybody in the town, or Ernest or Barry, if you have any questions specific to this, we'll pass them through the select board, and we'll certainly do our best to answer those questions.
We
Thank
just
you.
figures and give it to the water board and go from there.
Yep.
Yeah, the water board chair, I'll give her copies of all this and she can schedule a meeting with her board and then they
Yep.
can hash this out.
And one of us, the select board members, will attend in that meeting, so.
Mike, do you have anything else?
I'm good on this.
Very good. Well, Jason and Michael, thank you for attending. You're more than welcome to stay, or we'll get in touch with you later.
Great. Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate this.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for your
Have a good
time.
one.
Thank you. So this will go over back to Mike Bayraw now on the sewer system.
Sure, we're pretty good. Nothing really changed down there. It's winter time, so we're not sampling or nothing. The water, we fixed another leak on Lawson Street a week or so ago. That's the line that seems to be the one that needs Band-Aids all the time, that we do have the pipe we purchased to replace that line if we can ever find it in the budget to replace. But other than that, about the same usage, kind of hovering around 20,000 right now, what we're pumping. So not much changing there. I got to do a source protection plan update by March. That's just one of them paperwork things for the state. And beyond that, in the water and sewer, I think we're pretty good.
Okay. Come a long way on both of those systems.
Got a question, if I may ask a question.
Yeah, Ernest.
Okay, hey, the meters on the house, do they come very close to the meters that the water you're pumping, or is there a big difference?
The meter readings have been kind of all over the, we've had several meters we've had issues with. So the calculations that come out at the end of the chart are kind of variable, because we had a meter that was going backwards and we just changed a couple of meters and they give us kind of goofy numbers. But they A&E calculated this as like 16.5 for the last couple of years. We've been, in the summertime, we were up around 22, 23, what we're pumping this summer. And like right now, we're around 20,000. So we're probably, obviously we probably have leaks, because that's something that's never going to go away. But finding them until they surface is, you got to wait till they surface. And as soon as they surface, we fix them.
So by and large, pretty close.
We're within a couple, 3,000 gallons more. And that could be discrepancy in meters, because some of the meters we do use are relatively old. Or one of them is. The rest are relatively new. Does that answer your question, Ernest?
Yep, because I was just kind of wondering, how much water. If you're running a couple thousand versus 20,000, that you're not gonna be able to be a heck of a lot closer than that. No matter how you try it, you always pump more water than what you use.
Yeah, the standard is if you have 20% water loss from classes that I have attended, they said if you have 20% water loss or less, your system is extremely tight. We have engineering things that were done back in the 80s that I've read that show that they predicted our usage to be higher than what it is at this time. So just due to water loss. So I don't think we're doing too bad.
All right.
Oh, I do have something for Mike
Oh, Rick's got something for you, Mike.
on the road.
Yeah.
No, get that under roads.
Okay, yep, go ahead then.
So if there's nothing else for water, sewer, I asked Rick and Jerry, and they, so you have anything, Mike, for us on that?
I think I'm good.
Okay. So we'll move on to the road commissioner's report. And Rick's got a question after. We'll let you take the ball, Mike.
Okay, well, you guys see we got a couple, 3 bids on the roadside mower. Like to sell that.
Pretty self-explanatory.
Yep. I don't know if you want to go through them, you want me to read through them. We have one for 10,000, one for 9,000, and one for, what was it?
23,500.
Yeah, so I think that's the winner of the tractor.
So I think we gave authorization.
We gave you authorization to sell it. Yeah. Especially if you could get over 20, and it looks like you did.
Yeah. So would you like it formally approved, Mike, that we sell it to, or do you just want to take care of it?
That's however you need to do it.
We already authorized it before.
Okay. Gary said we've already authorized you to sell that thing or trade it or whatever. So the ball's in your court. You can take care of it.
Okay, perfect.
Yep.
Next up was the crushing. We had Kingdom Gravel crushing. They broke down in early December. They did not finish. They decided that they couldn't finish this winter because of the weather. So they pulled up and left. That they only crushed like 3,700 yards. So that left a lot of money in my budget and kind of left me in a predicament. I had talked to Jason Seacard, the owner, and asked him his thoughts, and he's happy to come back in the spring, but I didn't know what your thoughts on it were. I would like to probably put it out to bid with a deadline on it as to when it has to be completed by, because they've kind of been pushing us further and further in the year, and now he's screwed up my budget.
Well, we're all in agreement with you, Mike.
Okay.
We'll do a deadline.
With it, and if you want to put a penalty in there, I'm not opposed to that either.
Okay. So I don't think we need to advertise for the crushing bids until we have a budget for the new year anyway, so that'll be in the coming months. Next thing I had was the pickup. I need a rocker panel to get it inspected. I got an estimate from Michael Bro Auto, and kind of steep for one rocker panel, but it's like $1,360. It just, we want to continue to dump money, or are we gonna look at moving on from the truck? I'm happy with the truck. It's just a rocker panel.
Have you been up to see Jimmy Court?
I haven't, no. I just got a quick number from me too, and I can't go see Jim. That's.
Yeah, I mean, that's what Rick just suggested, and I'm not opposed to in the future here looking at another truck. We just bought a roadside mower.
Oh, I know.
And a truck last year and a grader before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So grader, truck, and roadside mower. So we're doing pretty good.
The grader is now 5 years old, just so you know.
I know.
Yeah. We still haven't forgot about the price.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Don't forget, we did get $26,000 extra from the state due to COVID on road for additional money in the road budget.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, maybe we can have that discussion earlier.
Yeah. Okay, moving on. I still have my headlight issue with the Freightliner I talked to you with Steve about. We fixed some of it, but it's still not right. I'd like to talk to you some more, but we don't need to do it here. The Western Star went to Charlie Boys on the Wrecker on Monday. It worked great on Saturday when it was snowing. Monday morning, it would not run without shutting down. So they had to come take it. So we'll have a Wrecker bill on that. They found some wiring issues. They fixed it. I picked it up Tuesday afternoon. Unfortunate.
Defect or our problem?
What do you say?
What'd you say?
Manufacturing defect or our problem?
No, they said it was a warranty thing. It was just the wires that were the issue. The service guy told me it was probably never fully plugged in, and it just slowly worked out of contact. And he said there was nothing I could have done to prevent it.
Right.
We've done some work in the shop, got our pressure washer set up pretty well, so it's convenient to pressure wash our trucks frequently after we have them out in the snow, the salt. Not much for snow, and put up a bunch of road signs last couple of days here and there. That's about it.
Okay. Rick had a question for you.
Yeah.
That's just a question, Mike, but a comment. The bridge, the underpass on Vance Hill.
Yeah.
The other day, I realized in the snowstorm or whatever, but the other day, foot and a half on each side, and that makes it real narrow going through there. So if you think about it, when you're going with the pickup, maybe you can scrape that a little bit.
You're saying it's narrow under the underpass?
Yeah, the snow builds up by the cement abutments.
Okay. I didn't notice that, but yep.
Well, when you get an extra 1.5 on each side where the plow drops a little bit of snow and it becomes pretty narrow.
Okay.
I think it's what it's gonna take, Mike, is the loader.
No, I think you can do it with the pickup, can you?
Well, I think it's frozen pretty solid.
Oh, is it? Could be, yeah, could be.
No problem.
Okay.
Just check it out. Yeah.
Yep. No problem.
That's it.
Anything else, guys? No? You have anything for us, Mike?
Nope. That was it.
Well, we'll move on. Next item up is the discuss town meeting for 2021. I don't know, and I don't think anybody knows at this point. Denise has been working on this. She got a meeting with other town clerks throughout the state of Vermont. I do know the legislature just reconvened in Montpelier. That was the first thing that they're taking up. They're supposed to have a new law or a procedure or whatever come out by not tomorrow, but a week from tomorrow. The Waste District, which we are a member of, is working with, because that's a 35 town board, and they've got some issues on how to conduct their voting, Australian ballot voting, which is one of the questions that we have is if we do go to Australian ballot. And the school system is working on that too. So to actually have some sort of discussion relative to town meeting, and I know we have to do this because we have to have our warning signed and done by the end of January, and I don't know what to do. Denise.
Well, I do know that we've talked to elections. We've talked to the Secretary of State's office numerous times. Myself, as well as a number of other town clerks. When I talked to JP at the elections, he suggested we wait and see what legislature does this week. We are having a town clerks, Colchester organized a roundtable discussion, which through COVID, we've been having a number of those discussions just amongst the town clerks, and they will be there to give us an update and their take on what you know we should do or not do.
Okay.
There's pros and cons to every situation. That's the tricky part. We'll know more. You know, we're going to have some budget meetings in the next couple weeks, so maybe we can, you know, table this until, you know, next week or the week after when we have a budget meeting and put that on that agenda as well. We'll have more information after Monday for sure.
Okay.
That's just my thought.
Did you come up with a figure from the fire department as to how many we could fit in there? I know he was measuring the other day. I stopped down and talked to him.
Yeah, we could fit, according to his calculations, we could fit 90 people in there. The problem with that, according to the Secretary of State, is that the governor had says that we cannot, there no large gatherings are to happen. So even if we had a football field with 20 feet between people, we still can't do that at this point, according to the governor's order right now as it stands, unless legislature comes up with something else. That's what we're kind of waiting on.
Okay.
We've had, in 2018, we had 80 people at the start of town meeting. 2019, we had 63, so.
Yeah, I know that the waste district, because it's voted on by 35,000 members, that to produce the ballots and do the special mailing would cost the district $44,000.
Mhm.
That's without the labor to count the ballots as they came in. So, and that was 5.5% of the budget. So
Right.
there's questions that need to be answered prior to doing anything. I was in contact with one of the school board members, and they're supposed to be discussing that also tonight. So I don't know how that's going to come out there either. So we just need to wait and see what's going to happen.
Yep. hopefully by next week, if we have a budget meeting next week, we can discuss it further then. We'll have, like I said, more information.
It's a good time next week to do a budget.
I can do it anytime.
Yep.
It's more with your
Yep.
schedule and
Anything.
Denise.
You pick the day,
Anytime.
your work, you pick the day.
They just authorized me to look at my schedule, and whatever fits for me, we can do a budget meeting next week. Is that okay with you, Denise?
Yep, as long as, with Mike, it depends on the snow, obviously. Mike needs to be there
What
as well.
I'll send you a message tomorrow.
Yeah, we have to warn it, don't forget 24 hours ahead, so.
Correct. Yep.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you. Got that done. Moving on.
Does anybody else have any other input on town meeting?
No.
No, okay.
Dwight, you still there?
Yes.
You work for the state of Vermont. You got any pull in that regards?
I don't. I think everybody's trying to figure out what's going to happen with us, even in the school board when we talk about it. It's how we're going to vote on budgets and all of that is something we're trying to figure out. So we're in the same boat.
Okay, good. Well, it'd be nice if we all did it the same thing.
Yep. That would be great.
Well, let me know what North Country comes up with, or the supervisory union, and the local school board would probably be part of that, and then we'll see if we can put it all together.
Okay, perfect. I'll do that.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is the update conflict of interest policy to meet the federal code of regulations. And we had adopted a policy a while back, and it did not meet the COVID part of it. So they.
Wait a minute, Steve,
Yes, Denise.
sorry, but no, it's not, it's got nothing to do with COVID.
Oh, I thought it was. I'm sorry.
No, what it's got to do with is Mike and I applied for and are very close to getting a FEMA grant on some stuff some damage on the roads that happened a year and a half ago. And in order to get the FEMA changed their, what am I trying to say? Their policy in our current conflict of interest policy, it read public officers, and they need it to be changed to say public officer, employee, or agent to cover the federal guideline.
So that was in section A, number 1, third line down. And what we have in front of us has been corrected because it does say a conflict of interest arises when there is a direct or indirect personal or financial interest of a public officer, employee, or agent.
Yes, and that's consistent throughout the whole conflict of interest policy. I did send this to all of the FEMA guys. There's I don't know, 8 or 10 people that we've been dealing with, and they all said that this met with FEMA guidelines. So if we ever go for any other FEMA or federal grant, this will be covered.
Okay. Then
I make the motion to authorize these changes.
And I'll second it.
motion's been made and seconded to change the conflict of interest policy. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Ayes have it. Motion carries. It's been updated.
Thank you. One step closer to getting some money.
All right, next item up is our zoning administrator is moving out of town. His name is Doug Lay. And I have a resignation in front of me. It says, well, my time has come to officially relinquish my duties as zoning administrator. We have sold our house and moving out of state. I suggest you let Denise handle the everyday chores until you can find someone. I can work with her until you find someone. It's been a pleasure serving the town of Newport. All the best, Doug Lay.
I make a motion, we accept his resignation.
Yeah, I'll second it.
Motion's been made and seconded to accept the resignation. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Ayes have it. Motion carries.
Should we post for another administrator?
Well, we got town meeting
Okay.
coming up and maybe we could.
I think we
Is
should
it-
post.
Well, we could
Anybody's
post it.
interested.
It is an appointed
Yeah.
position.
Should have posted to get some feedback on who
and
can
we-
qualify.
And we probably should have a discussion on what we'd like to see, someone that,
I think we gotta see who
Who
applies.
applies.
that's
Sure.
true.
Yeah.
That's true.
See-
But they
see
should
what
have a
their-
job description.
Yeah.
Right, see what their
Yeah.
qualifications are.
Yeah.
You hear that, Denise?
No, I did not.
What we were discussing is putting out to, not bid, but see
I'll
if it-
put an ad in the paper to, letter of interest.
that's
Letter of
it.
interest, yeah.
That's it. And we were just discussing that we probably should have some kind of a,
Guideline, qualification.
yeah, or job description,
Resume.
so that people knew what they were getting into.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Okay, yep.
And resumes to the town.
next item up is sign orders, review and approve bank statements and journal entry. We've been doing that as the
Yep.
meeting's been going on here. Is there any unfinished or new business? You guys have anything? No? Denise, do you have anything?
I do not. I just want to know about scheduling a meeting for next week sooner than later, so.
Well, that would be new business. And I said I would contact you when it fit my schedule and we'd do a budget
Oh,
meeting.
that's right. Sorry, I forgot about that, yeah.
No, that's all right. So if there's no other new business or anything unfinished, I don't have anything left over. Okay,
Nobody else has anything that's still on? Steve Edgley's raised his hand.
Denise, are they up to date on what's going on down in the corner?
No, you might want to update him. I did not say anything to them.
Okay, as of July 13th, the owner of the two big buildings down there, one next to Barry, the one across the road, will be no longer responsible for the buildings. There's a trustee hearing on the 12th. And once they get a trustee, I'm meeting with the fire marshal, the fire chief, and we're gonna go through both buildings.
So if she's not responsible for the buildings, who is?
The bank will be.
The who will be?
Bank.
The bank, okay.
You know which bank that is, Steve?
I don't have a clue. She's filed bankruptcy and she was gonna do it before and then she put it off and she finally had to do it.
Okay,
So what's gonna
The
happen?
trash, when I talked to you, Steve, about, you had me, I had my wife text her and she finally got back to us and the next day she did pick up the majority of the trash out there. But it's starting to build up again a little bit, but not as bad as it was.
On the
And
side?
across the road, that's getting pretty bad too. So we'll be dealing with that trustee.
yep.
And they're gonna take care of this? They're gonna take care of the trash regularly or?
Well, it'll be up to the bank.
Oh, so the bank's gonna do it maybe, huh?
Well, no, they won't be, no, maybe about, they'll have to, so.
So
And they might take care of the other problem that's going on down there because I don't think the banks will let all them people stay there.
So they may be evicting them?
Could be,
That would be nice.
it would.
So, Denise, when a property changes hands, how long before you're notified who the new owner is?
It all depends. How long the attorneys take to get the paperwork done and all of that stuff.
So the tax bill on that property is still gonna be her responsibility.
Well, after the 12th, we'll be dealing with a bank. I'm sure that they'll send foreclosure paperwork or bankruptcy paperwork changing the owner's name.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
and Steve Edgley actually is going to meet with the bank and the fire marshal and such, Steve, after?
Yeah, and we've got the fire chief going with us, so.
good.
Yeah, we had to get together up to the station and the three of us will get together and then get together with the trustee and go from there.
Okay. Thank you, Steve. And thank your wife for us. For doing the texting. I don't know if you heard me.
Steve Edgerly, did you hear that?
No, I didn't.
So I'm sorry. I wanted you to thank your wife for doing the texting,
Oh,
okay? Thank you. If there's nothing else before this board, I need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it. Motion is made and seconded to adjourn at 7 o'clock. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. We're done.
Thank
you.
you.
for
Thank
attending.
you, everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
you guys are doing a good job, Steve.
Oh, thanks.
Keep up the good work.
Still being recorded. I recorded that, Steve.
That's why I said it.
Do we leave this? No, how the hell do I do this?
I don't think I'm gonna be doing shots
Do you know how I leave this?